Sanil Pediviki, we to so to me, Garnett Jata, Tano Shingi Philip, Legatingi Ali, Ziviki, Conchudilingi, Toto, Tana Shingi, Kennedy Jajosovaki, Toto, Shirotachinla, Denishingi, Junde Mimi, Toto Nambata, Mima, Samagilaya, Sondrix Shuayi, Tomadaya, Tanaga, Tizi Moboji Tola Tongami, Pikinolia, Tsukashi Shuchovati, Tijeliangi. Julia and the engine or yas non like nongre, begin all share the Tanagato, Kusho Garnett like Imbina, Tandangato de Toronto, Sanilia, Chitan, Mirushinda, Damana Moment, the Tinicamino, Pedigo, so the Chinda Trubagi, Sidilia, International Human Rights Athlete, the Tutu, Noloyaki, Kamich Nongre, teacher, Yatanda, Kono Pego, Tikasing unto the Sanilia Pegu, the Mima, Pimitan and Tuna Dugre, Shugudu, the Indian, Tiring unto the Soba, Chiaki, Kudishugo Yore. Then she saying unto that day, Sanile Pibiki, taking Yankuni Jim Chani, to talk to me, Minade, Chelsea Soba Kandi Minaya, Toman and Tewasayata, then you sing Chelsea Sobali, Yama Batonian Tewasoning to Nipan non to Pune. Pimiruda Zatin Chedalia, Munigi, Shasa Yobigi, Robatin Kate, so Liang Tuki, Jis Hiron Shuata, Peso Shiade, Shindani Kitchen Bujiresha, the Sundang at Tali, Dirin to me, Garnett Lada, Philip Ninja Payore, Garnett Tembina, Nidun Judulo, the Tendambo Jawal Page, Jarmachin Jitan Noya, then you sing Sheso, Javalia, Sunju Tirentin, Tujugi, Kosalia Kunde, Pene Jawal Penoyore, then you sing it and Anatoki, Nidun Nishotaninge, Kinda Juni Tsichiangato, Pegi con Javini Palelia to Mechigule, Tanda Tuchishano, Yoretea, Kunegi, Zode, Garnett Conchago Requisho. Then you sing it, Takasi, Sunju Tirentin, Tujuria, Nanshin, Tomot and the Giovanna and Tote, Garnett la Canton, Otto and the tip of the Penoyora. You sing to Mimatlia, Sevotin, Shuelia, Natsuki Conchadili, Minade, at Sobankan, Nagi, Lingi, Kadich Pigu Yovenaya, Chelsea, Mina, to so to me, we to so to me in a day, Natsanadi to so to me in a day, Tana Shingi, Sidiki Councilor in a Somal Natsun, the Shotongu. In a tapema bede, Cross la Valeroa, Talodo in a Sunjuti dealing at the Somal Toyote, News Penny de Garnett Genis, Krongi. Puglo Shichin Jotin teacher number 2. Kitan she say Kono Desa Saja de Alberta Re, Krongi, Wushu Lonsalia, Peppa Kanchi Yamare, Wushu Chane Kolia, Rat in the Key Yamaret in a Jistin Drami Tonton, she did, Klapato Jarmuchi, Big Sate Kolia, Nasha Jintin Jaju Yunkin, Tindiki, in this Somalia, Tiringa Sate, Corolla Cheton, Tindicin and Atake, Sobakagi, Kudushibi Shuayi, they don't know the Tamadriang at Seta Shuelia. Then Saja Kumaru Machilia, Tinchu Pia, get under Shindig Pinongo, then you sing at Tanda, Ronse Lade, Jetty Ladegaji, Pesha Pinguan and Atana, Conjuchu dealing in the Tanda Pesha Sachi, Jim Downing at Tandachu, you're going to get Icha Punshu Joanna to Suruchi Dusha, that is a moment Kamago, Tony Jelle, 스나운제 라기 인지노래 손을 놓으시베이.
Let's welcome Honorable Philip Lawrence, who is from Northumberland, Peterborough South, and is actively working on Bill C-281. So, welcome to the Tibetan community. The next MP that I'm about to introduce is a personal favorite of mine and many of the Tibetan Canadians here, who has dedicated significant efforts in terms of raising awareness for Tibetan cause. He had the privilege of meeting His Holiness the Dalai Lama and consistently makes time to participate in Tibet-related events in the Parliament Hill. Let's all give it up for MP Garnett for his dedication. Double-clicking on a few of his accomplishments, under MP Garnett's leadership, the Trafficking in Human Rights Organ Act, also known as Bill S-223, was successfully passed. This significant legislation enables the Canadian government to take actions against individuals involved in illegal organ harvesting. It's crucial to note that the UN human rights experts have raised alarming concerns about the forced organ harvesting in China, targeting specific groups, including Tibetans. MP Garnett's determination to address this issue and protect vulnerable communities is a testament to his commitment to justice and human rights. The latest and final notable accomplishment was the introduction of a motion entitled Resumption of the Sino-Tibetan Dialogue in the Canadian House of Commons. This motion, which received unanimous support, emphasized the importance of Tibetan self-determination without interference from the Beijing's Communist Party. It also calls for the renewal of the long dialogue that's overdue, recognizing the significance of open and meaningful communication in resolving the Tibetan issue. MP Garnett has an impressive track record and a strong commitment to the Tibetan cause. Through his dedication, he has not only raised awareness but also achieved tangible results. The hope is that MP Garnett will continue to lead and collaborate with other leaders from all parties across Parliament Hill. And we are hopeful that MP Garnett will one day lead and champion the Tibetan cause with various other leaders. And also we are hopeful that one day the Canadian government will take a leading role in addressing the Tibetan issue and inspire other countries in the world. And I'm also hopeful that one day Tibet will achieve freedom from all the suffering it has endured. Without further ado, please welcome MP Garnett to the stage.
Well, thank you for that kind and very generous introduction. It's always a great pleasure to be with you here. I'll just maybe move a little bit. What's that? It's always a great pleasure to be here with you and with my friend and colleague Philip Lawrence, who's been championing Bill C-281. We're here spending a week in Toronto trying to spread the news and seek your help and support on another legislative initiative that's aimed at advancing justice and human rights. This Bill C-281 makes a number of critical changes to Canadian law and policy that will force the government in an ongoing way to advance and defend human rights. It requires the government to table an annual report on the work they're doing to advance human rights. It creates a mechanism for parliamentary committees to recommend individuals for sanctions who are involved in human rights abuses. It would also, and I think this is a critical piece for the Tibetan community in particular and others who are victims of CCP violence, it would take off Canadian airwaves those Chinese state-controlled media channels that are currently able to broadcast here in Canada, broadcast messages of hate and violence and even depict forced confessions that they've been involved in. So it would take these Chinese state-controlled media channels off the air here in Canada. It would also include provisions to highlight the plight of political prisoners. We know of many high-profile cases of Tibetan activists, important religious figures who have been detained for a long time. I think in particular of the ongoing detention of the Panchit Lama that I and others have spoken about in Parliament. This bill, as part of the government's reporting on human rights, asks them to provide information about cases of ongoing detention of prisoners of conscience that have for whose release the government is actively working. So there's a lot of different pieces of this bill, C-281. Really, it's an omnibus bill. It's a collection of different measures that will help to advance human rights. And it's something that Phil has put forward that I'm seconding and supporting, and we're trying to get passed before the next election. This would make a big difference and an ongoing difference in terms of orienting Canadian foreign policy towards the advancement of human rights. So I'm asking for all of your support for Bill C-281. Please consider expressing support in various ways online, talking to your local MP. This bill will go for a final vote on June the 7th. I think this complements the work that we've done in this Parliament. In December, some of you were with us in Ottawa. We passed the motion that was mentioned that called for the resumption of Sino-Tibetan dialogue towards establishing genuine autonomy for Tibet. And we also passed the organ harvesting bill. And to give further life to these initiatives, the International Human Rights Act, C-281, is a next step that forces the government to be in ongoing dialogue with Parliament, responding to recommendations and providing information about what they are doing and will do going forward to advance human rights. So thank you for the opportunity to share a few words about this. Thank you for your support. It's always such a pleasure to be with you. I have been so richly blessed by my relationship with the Tibetan community as well. So thank you for your, as always, for your friendship and your hospitality. God bless.
Next, I would like to request Honorable MP Philip Lawrence to come on the stage and define the Bill C-281.
Thank you very much. It's an honor and privilege to be here. And as always, my friend Garnett sums up everything quite well. So my remarks will be brief. And so Bill C-281, in a nutshell, it seeks to advocate, to inspire, and to allow for the speaking of truth to power, whether that be parliamentarians in the Canadian Parliament, to the executive and to the government, asking them why are we not sanctioning individuals, or whether it be it allowing individuals, advocates around the world, the power and strength they need to do for advocating for prisoners of conscience and to raise awareness. So we will, as a Conservative Party, stand a friend to Tibet. I salute my great colleague, Garnett Jenis, and I look forward to working beside him as we move towards a dialogue where Tibetans are once again free and have a real sense of autonomy. Thank you very much.
디절이야 타만들이야 간소던데 게넷는 대화 진행에 더 조도 어디 가서 철수기 게넷의 논리리 철수기 gen조데 간소던데 CTC 캐나다 티베트 커뮤니티게 executive director 시로라 차고요레 제서 시로라 타만들이 칼로치 논로치이 가만히 숨지
동만대 미만대 창만 배우대 투지체다 아니 캐나다 페더럴 행적 CDC 탑 슈제 다시대 슈교이 아니 다른데 토론토 내데베 기 소바카 나게 고잡게 다른 다릭 집에 제보데라 도스 게타마데 투지체체 안게다 벽인 티카시스티 망체와 인계긴 슈초지 백인 슈에 등에 내가 전부 뒤통고도 넘어서 같이 막힌 바 요에나 안도 공도 숨가 개최슈지 가르쳐고 슈에나 단다 조조팀이 가넷 제네스 교인이 아니 단다 조조팀이 필립 로렌스기 숭원나시 다른 게 숭에 단다 조디 팀자 빌 C281 팀자디 갈 차디고 그래. 근데 빌 C281 팀자디 거래를 걸로 쉬워야나. 아니 캐나다 슝원에 드럼이 톱당 갈라. 아니 뉴슈 슈체르 땅 고게여스 라지 다 팀자기 낭된 조디 대 차디고. So thank you organizers for inviting me today to speak few words in honor and in gratitude of Honorable Member of Parliament Garnett Janice and Honorable Member of Parliament Philip Lawrence, and in honor of their support to Tibet and in honor of their work on human rights, particularly on the Bill C-281, an International Human Rights Act. As a Canadian human rights activist and as a member of persecuted Tibetan diaspora, I consider this initiative a very important step in urging Canadian government to do more for Tibet. This bill, it connects Tibetan issues very closely because one of the issues that Tibetans in Tibet particularly deals on a very challenging situation is the arbitrary detention and torture. And this bill will push Canadian government to do more on prisoners of conscience. There are thousands of Tibetan prisoners of conscience who are still languishing in prisons in Tibet without any access to their family, without any access to legal help. This bill will push Canadian government to publish at least once a year a report on human rights, including a list of prisoners of conscience, their names, circumstances of their detentions, and efforts made by government to either meet or attend their hearings. As MP Garnett Janice mentioned earlier, we have been advocating almost every year for the release of His Holiness the 11th Panchen Lama. So this bill again will amplify our advocacy initiative for the call of release of prisoners of conscience like Panchen Lama. And there are many other thousands of Tibetans who are still, Panchen Lama is an example. And as my colleagues earlier mentioned, on December 14th, Canadian Parliament unanimously passed a motion supporting the resumption of dialogue. A motion sponsored by MP Garnett Janice. This motion I have mentioned this on several other events at Tibetan Canadian Cultural Center as well. This motion was passed in the Canadian Parliament for the first time in 13 years. It took many years. And more recently, we went to Ottawa, we lobbied for the appointment of special coordinator on Tibetan issues. So this bill will amplify all other human rights initiatives that are going on and that will come in the future. Personally, it's a great honor and inspiration for me to really have this opportunity to speak in the presence and in the honor of MP Garnett Janice, because I've known him for over now 8 years, since 2016. I consider him more as an activist first, and then politician. An activist politician who has been consistently speaking for the persecuted people by authoritarian regimes like People's Republic of China. So again, thank you everyone for coming here today, because we need to acknowledge people who support our cause from all parties. Thank you.
number inje tsama ya tanga cha thama dile yang chu ti kwa number sli yang chu ki tuje chele ki nimba khashi chite yo. So firstly, we would like to present a token of appreciation to Honorable Garnett Janice by Kasam Pinso, the President of Tibetan Canadian Association. Thanks so much, Garnett. Next, I would like to request the President of Canada, the country, going to pass on to President aviation talking to Honorable Philip Lawrence. Martin. And then I would like to request the President of ITYC to present token aviation to Assistant Officer Ali. Yes. Just come out. Number two, what's it here? Next, I would like to request the President of Ontario Tibetan Women's Association, Techela, to present the token of aviation to Mr. Shirab Tachin. Shirab Tachin worked tirelessly for all the political campaign in Canada, tirelessly. I would like to say a few words in Tibetan that Shirab Tachin la say mena Koron ki ninse meba tise ton je pe chena nga chu ni tu ni zening ki jinda kyunyu ki jinda shibalya chi chi shilya nga tanda bill motion pass che le ka chin chod kono re khasi ni cha nga chu auto no ya nga chu lobby desk re tin no ya to so terminal appointment so re tin hingi kono ge tanda material this preparation che sama 황상에 기지들 내가 목걸이 전에 같으랴 미 먼저서 통고야 말 제로는 같이 내가 지고 그런 게 대송자 대리 그거에 쓰인게 맞아 초바가 나타 미망게 치료되질라나 힌답은 투제 넣으셔야